Right. Okay. So from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mark.
But you're talking. Oh no, you were at different times to me there.
It doesn't matter. It all syncs up. It's for the sync. It's never going to sound
5,
the same. Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Mark.
You see, it was because I wasn't. It was like when you're trying to count a number and some just start shouting random numbers at you. It just gets all very confusing. Like going 37, 92, 108, 1, 5, 7, 9.
I'm going to try and remember to do that next week.
3,268,000.
Yeah, but what you got to remember is with the countdown, the internet lag, and
there we go. All right.
Just you keep me near, I'll be so good for you.
Good for you.
BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed, ahoy, hoy, welcome. It's normal service once again in BRB UK Towers. It's episode 501, our second half millennium of episodes. That's a scary thought. I'm Dan, I'm one of your hosts. Good day, one and all. I'm joined, as ever, by Timothy Kenneth Hibbs. Well done,
you?
Tim. You still remember? I'm fine. Slightly recovering after the two-hour D&D fest that was episode 500. But otherwise, good. I think Ed did rather well, didn't he, Coleman? Say hello, Coleman.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Well, I mean, you guys had a 2.5 hour recording. I had the week of editing because so many things went wrong with the edit.
I mean, there was lots of swears as well.
There was lots of swears. Hold on.
There was lots of swears. Our apologies.
Lots of swears.
Lots of swears. Lots and lots of swears.
I rolled to check.
And jiggling dice.
I had fun. I got to stare longingly at a picture of David Cage in the episode. It was marvellous.
If you don't know what we're talking about because you skipped over the episode because we said it was going to be different, we didn't do a choose your own adventure. We did a D&D adventure of BRB UK, and a lot of fun was had by us recording it. I enjoyed listening back to it. The edit was very weird because for some reason the edit decided to corrupt partway through. And luckily I'd already exported a WAV version of it, which I was then using for video editing and stuff. But it's like a draft version, so it was either go off the draft version or go back and re-edit the entire thing. And at this point, I'm about 5 days in, and I didn't want to do that.
Oh.
So apologies for the sound of the episode. At some point, I might go in and scrub it up and put out like a HD remaster of episode 500. But yeah, I had fun listening back to it, though, even if I do listen back and go, oh, God, that audio's so balked.
It sounds all right.
It sounded fine to me, Coleman. I didn't notice. You could have got away with it if it wasn't for some pesky kids maybe noticing.
Oh, yes, Tim Hibbs, that fine, well-renowned purveyor of audio who gets technological things right 100% of the time, just as long as that's 20% of the time. Right, anyway, chaps. It's a quiet-ish week, I thought, for news, which is good.
It's all rumours.
I hear you ask. Because we have several things to talk about. That's right, not one thing, not two things. I might even venture as far as 3 or 4 things. including a game that involves the word Winklebottom, which I'm always in favour of. and Tim playing an RTS game like it's 2017 or 18 once again. So, yeah, let's get on it, chaps. Shall we start off with the thing that we all done played, and that thing we all done played being the rather wonderful Stray.
All I do each night is Stray, hoping that I'll play a cat game again someday.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I thought that just now.
Went there.
Really? You're better than that, Coleman.
I'm always looking for an excuse
Really
to bring Take That into the show.
Take cat. Sure.
Always
Take
landing
cat.
on your feet.
Oh, that's 2 episode titles.
Boom! Boom! Boom!
Well, yeah.
So what do you think, guys? Did you all pick it up on the PS5 for quote-unquote free?
Mm-hmm,
Yes, totally free
Yes.
game that we had to pay absolutely no money for on the PlayStation 5. No strings attached.
Apart from
Just
the money
gave it
you
away.
pay every month.
No, all free, Tim.
Shush.
Free games. I'm just
They're
going
all
in for
free.
it now. Free games.
I paid them. You see, the thing is, I paid the money for nothing. And as a thank you, they now let me have things for free. That's how it works, right?
Yeah. It's like how Disney started giving us free Marvel shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great. I love them.
You guys have paid for the premium version and got access to it that way, and I've just paid for extra and still got access to Stray, which is a bonus, basically.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the games I was really looking forward to.
We can still look down our noses at you, and frankly, that's a treat that you can put a price on. You can
look down on him. See, that's why it was better if Coleman stayed at the basic level, because then we could have done a whole, I look down on him
Monty
because
Python
he's basic
sketch
level.
thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I look up to him because he's premium.
The only reason I upgraded is because I had to up my PlayStation Plus anyway, and I got the email saying, hey, do you know if you pay £21, then for the rest of the year you can have premium? And I was like, okay, well, how much is extra? Oh, like £4 less. All right, I might as well just get premium for the rest of the year, and then I'll just change it when we get to next year. So,
but have you guys spent all your time playing Stray and other things other than the retro stuff that you could have had access to? Well,
I
paid the extra, but anyway.
Returnal, of course, as we all know, is a game we like to talk about. But no, Stray is. I finished it. I've done my first playthrough. Haven't 100%ed everything. It's it's a really lovely game, and that sounds really weak to describe it like that. So for those of you who don't know what Stray is, you are a cat.
Good.
You are a cat. You are a stray. Okay. Well, you're not a stray cat. You're a cat who has survived some kind of humanity-ending apocalypse. And you start off the game having a nice trundle with your buddies, sniffing each other's butts, having a whale of a time, jumping on things, all the fun you have, but then you slip. And you fall into an underworld, a post-apocalyptic underworld inhabited by robots who have started their own society. And you are trying to help them out along the way, trying to reunite a band of robots who want to break out their subterranean city and see the real world, see the outside. But of course, you're a cat. That's just coincidental because what you want to do is go outside, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, I really like this game. I'm not particularly a cat person. I prefer dogs, but this is a cool looking cat, and does cat things. And I particularly like how you can kind of sidetrack from the main plot of the game and go, do you know what? I'm just going to scratch this carpet. I'm going to sleep on this cushion, and there's
push stuff off shelves. I love pushing stuff off shelves.
Push stuff off shelves. You can you've got a meow button. That's pretty fun. So I like how.
Do you know if you meow at the cameras, they'll nod back at you?
Yes, I have noticed that.
It's great.
It's semi-realistic cat does seem to make the game, and it is reviewing pretty well, I think, looking around before we started recording. And I am enjoying it. It's a short game. It's only about 5 hours if you just go straight through. And then you can go around and do all the little puzzles and stuff. I'm trying to do the puzzles along the way, so it's taking me a bit longer. Yeah, I enjoy this game. I do wonder, and I'll ask this, and it's the same thing you ask me, Dan, when I go, I really like this, I don't know, Avengers game. You go, would you still like the game if it didn't have the Avengers in it? Would this game be nearly as popular if you didn't play as a cat?
No.
Because it is a very basic puzzle platformer short game.
I think that, yes, it would be a worse game without the fact that you are a cat, but also the charm and appeal of the game, and also some of the appeal of the kind of mechanical side of the game, and the realization of that idea is so well done that it enhances the game experience to the point where that is part of the charm and the appeal. To the point where I think you may not like this game as much because you do not like cats as much as dogs.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you specifically take out the character of a cat and make it like, I don't know, a little goblin, is it still as cool a game?
I think that's that Gollum game that's coming out, mate. That's nothing to do with this. You're there, Gollum. You're climbing on a table, pushing off stuff.
Yeah, that got delayed.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying we influenced that, but that wasn't surprising that got delayed.
But now the mods are coming, and I'm pretty sure that could be a Gollum game.
Absolutely, but I mean, I think you're right. I mean, it wouldn't be. I certainly wouldn't enjoy it as much if you didn't play as a cat. But I think they do. Kind of the what I found myself doing was like kind of like a lot of the environments you're presented with are kind of these strangely bleak but also strangely hopeful kind of cyberpunk kind of concrete jungles underground, and which are beautifully put together. The atmosphere that this game has is just incredible. It is, the art design on it is absolutely brilliant. Really, really love the way the game looks.
And the robot design is good as well.
And the animation, stunning as well.
I love that kind of fantastical sort of 70s, 80s inspired CRT-headed robot design. I always love that when I see that in things.
And have you come across the ones who are like ravers and they've got like speakers for heads instead? It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. But I mean, I think what they've done is that you start, initially when you look at it, you think, all right, that's a platformer like you were some kind of anthropomorphized thing like you usually are in a video game or in a platform. I think, all right, jump from here to there. But actually, through experimentation, you start to think about it in a different way from the viewpoint of a cat, and it's quite clever that it does that. It's like you find little nooks and crannies to sneak into that you wouldn't in any other game pay any attention to. So it's quite interesting that it does that, and it's very endearing. But I mean, I think to your point, Coleman, it's a quaint, enjoyable little game. Is it particularly deep? No. Are the puzzles particularly challenging? No. Is the narrative really that earth-shattering? No. But is it more than the sum of its parts? Yes, I would say it is.
Also, is it a perfect game for the new PlayStation Plus services as well? Also, yes.
Yes.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I'm glad this got. I mean, I was totally willing to buy this, but just because it's one of the games that got announced alongside the PlayStation 5. So I was looking forward to getting this because it's had that time to kind of sink in and go, new game for new system, even though it's on PS4 as well. But they kind of showed it off to go, new game, new system. So that's been embedded in my head to go, must get this game. I would have totally been buying this. It's £25 if you don't have the service, by the way.
Yeah.
And that is available.
25?
Yeah. Well, $24.99, and I
bargain. That extra 1p swings it as always.
I totally would have picked this up for £25. And this is on PC as well. Yeah, I would have got this for 25. But
yeah, I think it
would have had to be
before these sort of times. Yeah,
15. I think is probably what I would be looking at.
So you might have waited. So
I
lost
love
one
cats.
sale, sort of thing. You know. I think you would have bought it, especially if me and Coleman came on and said how good it was. But yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a wonderful little game, but it's not a game you'll be coming back to again and again and again and again and again and again. It doesn't have a great deal of replay value, although you can really confuse the snot out of your cat by making another cat move around on the telly, and it gets very
used to do
That's
that
kind
to
of
my
fun.
old cat. My old phone used to have one of its ringtones was cat meowing, and I used to set it to that and then hide it somewhere in the room and watch my cats go mad trying to find it. That used to be fun.
Unless you're your
cat torturer.
I used to love playing with my cats. They were a laugh, but I'm more of a dog person. Yeah. It's interesting. I like that, and it does that kind of. It's the Asian future aesthetic, which I do like. They kind of go the two ways in science fiction of going, hey, it's the future. It's a technological 80s dystopian future because Japan was leading in technology in the 80s, or it's a Chinese dystopian future because the massive rising population of China in the 80s and even so now, and them looking like they could be a dominant force as a superpower. I always like it. I prefer it in like little touches and like Firefly, for instance, how they kind of, when they start shouting in China, it was a way to get past swearing, but they would say Chinese swears and things to kind of say, hey, they were the dominant superpower and we've absolved their language into everything now. I like it more that way than on this one, where it's clearly inspired by Kowloon Walled City, which, if you look into that, is a horribly depressing thing in itself. But it suits this narrative where it's meant to be quiet and desolate and just concrete all over the place, and this idea of you need to escape the gritty, dark, no sunlight kind of thing, and then wrap that up as playing as a cat. All fun.
It's an interesting juxtaposition. There you go. There's your box quote.
Yeah. Shall we move along and finally play this game that you've been wanting to play for a long time, Dan?
What's that?
It's a little game I like to call Has Dan got his massive Steam Deck?
Have I got my massive dick, mate? It is my massive dick. Look at that. Look at the
Has it
size
finally
of it.
arrived? Have you got it?
Yeah.
It has
Happy
arrived.
It's massive. It's bigger than my head in every possible dimension.
Wow, that is a big dick.
Isn't it a big dick? It's
Big
a bit. And you know
Steam
what,
dick.
mate?
This joke isn't as funny when you're not doing the South African accent.
Yeah.
It's a big black dick, is what it is. Big black dick.
I held
Yes,
one this week.
I got a Steam Deck finally.
Okay, but what about the Steam Deck, Tim?
But a mere year after I pre-ordered it, it turned up.
Well done. Which means I should get
it's-
mine mid next year.
Right.
And me the year after.
Have you put that into the? Have you ordered one yet, Coleman?
I pre-ordered one, but way late.
Oh,
Maybe
which
I'll get
model
it
do you go
mid
for?
I haven't. They haven't come back to say which one do you want. Paid the pre-order.
You have to
thing.
pre-order a specific one.
No, it was just pre-order, and then they get back to you, don't they?
What? No, I had to press click a button. I had to choose.
That's what happened to my friend that got one recently as well. But
Oh, really? So they've just we'll
I think
tell
the
you
first,
later.
I think the first orders, the first wave, you had to put down specifically what you're after, and then they would do your waiting list as in conjunction to the model that you're ordering. Yeah, and with this, I think now they just put a queue and then they'll come to you and go, which one do you want, when we can finally start building them.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to have massively ramped up production. I mean, it's because at the beginning of this month, there's various calculators out there to wallow in your disappointment that you've still got forever to wait for it. And initially it was right, you ordered 3 hours and 46 minutes in. They've so far done 46 minutes worth of pre-orders. But they massively ran production and initially I thought I was going to be waiting for at least another 3-4 months, but it ended up being 3-4 weeks. So Steam Deck, I've got the 512 gig version. With
of course you have.
With its etched glass screen to reduce the glares. And it's 512 gig of SSD storage. I think if I had my time again,
Sorry, what
I'll
storage?
probably go for the 256.
Really?
What storage?
I've got 512.
Of what storage?
PCIe
Super
storage?
Sexy drive.
Oh, sorry, a super sexy drive. But now it's a super sexy drive in a big, big dick.
Again, without the accent, we're just saying dick over and over again.
Are we? Yeah, sorry, big dick. From your girl goes super sexy drive and then big dick. You can't do it. You can't combine the two. You can't get super sexy drive.
Hold on, let me try.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I got to get my accent. Hold
All
on.
right.
White bread, brown bread. Hold on.
We bleed.
Super sexy drive. Yeah, it's difficult.
Isn't it? See? It's not going to happen. So anyway.
I've got to go out for my super sexy drive with my super sexy drive hunting shorts. Here they are, wearing them now. Got my super sexy drive hunting Yeah, I've got it. No, you can say that.
Can you?
Yeah.
All right, go for it. Go from
Hanging about in Johannesburg with my super sexy drive, searching for sugar men.
Yeah, all right.
We searching high, we searching low. Where is he, sugar man?
Oh my God. Anyway, Steam Deck. If I had my time again, I think the recommendation would be go for the 256 gig one because
Why?
I don't think.
You want more glare?
No. I mean, because I think with the glare, you can get aftermarket tempered glass screen protectors, which will sort that. And they've got guides how to replace the SSD, so you can upgrade that down the road. And actually, SD card read and write isn't so bad because you're not doing random reads and writes, you're doing sequential reads and writes, which are much quicker. So for the majority of games, if you're sensible about where you install them, I don't actually think the 512 gig version gives you the best value for money out of all of them.
Oh.
That's for as long as I'm assuming they're still continuing to bundle the case with the Steam Deck. I could envisage a world where either get just like a bag or a much cheaper case or no case at all, depending on the model that you go. I mean, it's a very nice case that it comes with. It's very well protected. It actually ships in that case. So you know it's survived a trip around the postal system before it even gets to you. Unless you have an America and FedEx deliver it and they've drop kicked it over a fence. So, but kind of the only difference at the moment between the cases of the 512 and the 256 and the 64 gig version are just literally different colors. There's no difference in in the size of the case, in the protection that the case offers, or anything like that. It's literally just the colours are a bit different. So you can go, oh, look at it, I've got a big dick, is what you can
So
say.
people know what they're stealing off you before they steal it, basically, yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice. I don't want the robbers to be wasting their time. I want them to work smart, not hard, Tim, is what I want them to do.
Yeah. What have you been playing on your Steam Deck, Dan?
So, I mean, I think the thing with the Steam Deck is
to look at it.
Well, that too. I have to say that
It's more of a status symbol.
Before we get onto it, onto what I've been playing, I think actually you don't realise what an amazing bit of tech that it is, because it runs Linux, fine, but it actually
what
runs...
What about Linux? Does it run that too?
Good old Linux.
You can run whatever you like, mate.
I loved him in Peanuts.
That it actually enables you to play games that have been compiled for Windows on the fly with very little hit in performance. And that's actually, technologically speaking, a pretty big deal. I mean, you can do it in things called, I think there's a compatibility layer called Wine that's freely available on Linux or Linux systems, depending how you want to pronounce it.
Definitely Linux.
But Proton, which is the backend they use, is much more advanced than that. And, it does an incredible job of doing that. So, I think that's the thing to remember. It's actually doing a pretty incredible job. That being said, you need to set your expectations, because, it's a very powerful device in a handheld form factor, but are you going to be playing it with full bells and whistles, ray tracing on, everything set to high? No, you are not.
It's only got a 720p output, hasn't it?
It's 720p screen on it. It's a very nice screen, but don't expect the full fat PC experience on a little handheld. And I think, much like a lot of PC gaming, to get the most out of it, especially if you're playing a relatively recent 3D game, be prepared to tweak settings. You're going to have to make a trade-off between battery life or visuals or a stable frame rate. Now, it does give you a lot of tools to really easily hit those goals, but you're going to have to.
Fun.
It's not too onerous, and I think it's going to get easier as more Steam Decks get out there. There's going to be probably databases of recommended settings if you want to hit 40 FPS or 60 FPS. But I mean, I think be prepared to, if you want to get the most out of it, be prepared to have a fiddle with your dick. But that being said, it can run F1 2022 on high settings at 60 FPS. No, you can never believe that my dick get in.
I'm going to have to start censoring us again.
What
the hell are they talking about? I don't know, but it's rude.
At 60 FPS without breaking a sweat. It can play Elden Ring, admittedly on much lower settings than perhaps you're used to, but it can play Elden Ring. You can play Elden Ring on the toilet. But where it really excels, I think, is that at the end of the day, it's a fully fledged little PC. So you can run Emulation Station on it, or anything you can download. I've installed a PlayStation Remote Play app. You can play Xbox Cloud Gaming on it via the browser and just have it surfaced as a Steam game.
Okay.
So actually, the flexibility that the device gives you is pretty huge, actually, and it is a very awesome, well thought out device. The controls on it are wonderful. The haptics from the two thumb trackpads are great. It's a very versatile device. But I think where it really shines is actually on the slightly lower fi games, like your kind of 2D or 2.5D beat 'em ups, shoot 'em ups, roguelites, etc., etc. Or where it's a really nice fit actually is like RPG games. It's a great way to play, say, Disco Elysium, for example, or things like the Shadowrun series of games. It's a really great way to experience those. And it has some of the niceties of handheld gaming that we're very much used to. Like you can just press the off button and it suspends. Like on a PC, if you press the off button while you're playing a game, well, that's it. You've lost your game. No more game save for you, Sonny Jim. This actually suspends the games as you would expect, as if you're playing on like a Switch or something like that. So, I mean, it is. I think it's going to be a work in progress. It's a very nice device. Does it still feel a little bit like it's in beta? Yeah, it does. I think there's still some bits of the user experience in terms of helping people who aren't used to fiddling about on the PC, helping people think about, all right, what's the settings they might want to change other than just dropping the resolution and upscaling just to get the most out of the Steam Deck that you want. But they give you a really good suite of tools to help gauge what the performance is. So like you can bring up an overlay if you're trying to dial your settings in about what your average FPS is, what the power draw is, what the expected battery time is given the settings that you currently got. So you can really customize it, but you're going to need to put a bit of effort in to get the most out of it. In terms of, well, the games are pretty much incredible. You know, everything that's on Steam, there's something quite incredible. And I know this is coming out on the Switch soon, but in a near enough good as the PC set of visuals, being able to play No Man's Sky on a handheld is a pretty amazing thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
And that's with most of the settings on medium or high, not ultra or anything like that. But it looks really, really, really good.
Well, I can imagine that's going to look more impressive than the Switch port that's about to come out as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if it didn't, Valve have done something very, very wrong.
Yeah. I like the idea of being able to, I mean, this is quite sad as I've played so much of it already, but if I had a Steam Deck, I know what I'd be doing. I'd be installing Death Stranding on it and playing that on the go. So
yeah, you can.
So I can walk while I walk.
Walk while you walk. I mean, it's,
for like 4 hours until the battery dies.
But I mean, I think the one thing I would say is why I think the lower price models might be good for a lot of people is that Steam games go on sale so frequently and you can find some really, really good deals. And I think as perhaps, you know, kind of the Steam Deck gets a bit more of a mature platform, that it becomes a bit easier to play the games you want and the way you want to play them. I mean, you can do that, but again, like I've said, it feels like you're having to kit bash it a bit. Great way for kind of cheap PC gaming on the go, and I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy it. I think it's a great bit of hardware. I've been amazingly impressed by it, and yeah, I really look forward to where the Steam Deck's going to go. But I have some consumer advice for you, Coleman.
Go on then, Dan.
Do you know what gets my goat?
Oh, Goat Simulator 1, 2, and soon to be 3.
Yeah, boy. You can play that on the Steam Deck. But also what gets my goat is the silly three-pronged plug that we have here in the UK. Because like the charger that comes with the Steam Deck is obviously, it has a UK plug on it. But because of that, it does not fit. There's a little, in your case, you'll notice there's a nice little recess where things are meant to live on the back of the case so you can hide them. Because of the bloody wall wart that all Brits have to have, it doesn't fit in there, and that is annoying.
Oh,
all right,
no.
It's annoying. So what you want a charger that does 45 watt power delivery, and has a little foldable plug, so it will fit into your divot behind the back of your Steam Deck. So the one I ended up getting was, I think to give it its full name, is Samsung official 45 watt super fast charger 2.0 with cable, which is 35 quid. I know it's another 35 quid, but it will fold up nice and small.
Well, I won't pay any more than $34.99 off of Amazon, Dan.
Well, it's a good job that it is that price. It's $34.99 off Amazon, and it will fit in the back of your dick, on the back of your dick carrying case.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you already buy this charger?
No.
Okay, I've got like 6 of these knocking about. Do you want me to just send you one?
Oh, actually, no. Did I buy it before I got the deck? No. Have I now bought it? Yes.
Oh, right. Okay, should have told me. I have got many Samsung chargers, and I've got the fast chargers all knocking about. I switched to Google though, so
yeah. But I mean, I think that's the only thing. And it's a shame that they didn't think about that with the power supply. And the power supply they give you, whilst it's a perfectly decent power supply, the cable's hardwired into it, and it's only a meter long, so that isn't too great. Whereas at least with the Samsung charger, you get for starters longer cable, but if you can find a longer PD compatible USB-C cable, then Robert's your mother's brother. Or get a battery pack and just charge it off that. But no, seriously, it's great. And at the end of the day, it's a little PC. You can do anything you would want on a PC on a little handheld device, which is pretty ludicrous.
You'll be podcasting from your Steam Deck.
I can do that if you want.
I know you can do that. Please don't. Don't.
Why not? It'll be great. Happening. You'll love it, really. Is it worth the wait? Yes. Would I recommend the 512 gig version for everybody? Probably not. I think the 256 is the sweet spot, is what I would say.
I mean, depending on when the pre-orders for the PlayStation VR 2 come out, I might pick one up. However, if the PS2 pre-orders come out first, I will probably throw money at that because I really want one.
Well, there was apparently something about PSVR 2 in the firmware update recently, and you can see something about the controllers.
Yeah.
And also they released a load of details this week on PSVR 2 at some point as well. So
yeah, looks good.
Yep.
I think there was...
I think we might be heading towards Christmas launch.
They were showing off the interface and that it's got the transparency mode, so you don't bang into your furniture, and you can set borders and all that kind of stuff up.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of the bells and whistles that come with existing PC VR headsets.
Well, and I think it might be coming sooner than you expect, since there's a little bit of a fail, I think, an accidental fail that Hello Games made, because they've recently pushed a new update for No Man's Sky. Yet again, another brand new update featuring lots of brand new stuff and not asking any more money for it. But as part of that, their tweet said, "Hey, look,
make another game."
I know they're going to have to stop at some point.
Just move on.
And they said,
this one.
Now.
They said last week released our 20th major free update. But good news, it's not just that. There's Outlaws, Steam Deck, but also Switch, Mac OS, and PSVR 2 are coming very soon. They may have slightly let the cat out of the bag there.
Well, I think that just has to tie in with the state of play, what was that, a month ago, where No Man's Sky was announced coming to PSVR 2. So I think it's just to do with that, because it says coming soon at the end.
And they may be, and the timing may work out very well, because I think the Oculus Quest 2 or Meta Quest is about to go up in price by £100.
All right.
From $299 for the 128 gig to $399, and from £400 for the 256 gig version to £500.
To do that.
I spotted a Quest 2 in a CES for £150 the other day, and I thought, ooh, and I went, I don't want to put a second-hand VR headset on my face.
Yeah, no, you don't want to go commando in another man's fatigues.
It was literally
Let's face it. Exactly. That's so much face in it.
Right, moving on. Tim, you've got Lord Winklebottom Investigates.
Yes.
Not me, can I just say? That is not my alter ego.
Before I go any deeper into this, should say that I got a review code for this, so take that with a pinch of salt, and generally, if you want anything that I say coming up. But, yeah, Lord Winklebottom Investigates. I was attracted to this game partly for the name, Dan. I did some digging of my own and investigating of my own into the game itself as well, and it had a successful Kickstarter a couple of years ago, and I think came out on PC, and there was definitely a demo available on the PC for a while. Coming out this week, I believe, or came out earlier this week, so will be out by the time you hear this podcast, and I've been playing it on the Xbox Series S. Oh, and Xbox One, actually, because I've been playing it in both locations in my house. But yeah, it's yeah, well, there you go.
What, the toilet and the front room?
Someone's earning.
But the
wall mounted that Xbox One in his bog.
The titular Lord Winklebottom is
titular.
As in
titular.
Comes titular. Yeah, titular. I think it's fine. Anyway,
you can say either or either.
Yeah. You say potato, Dan.
You see,
I don't say potato.
I say that.
It's a bad thing to say. Anyway, but Lord Winklebottom Investigates. Basically, the Lord Winklebottom of the title is a great detective, very much in the kind of shadow of Sherlock Holmes, or very much in the mold of Sherlock Holmes, I should say. But in slightly breaking that mold is also a giraffe.
Well, wouldn't you then say, rather than him being in the shadow of Sherlock Holmes would be in the shadow of him because he is a giraffe?
Quite possibly.
And casts quite a large shadow.
Depends on the angle of the sun compared to his neck.
So not so much the long arm of the law as the long neck
of
the law.
I like that one.
And your doctor assistant, very much in the mold of Dr. Watson, is a hippo. And I already like this game.
They're nasty bogus hippos. Seriously.
Yeah.
I've always thought that about
yes.
Watson as well. It's the quiet ones. He's actually a complete psycho.
This one's a bit
Hippos will
grumpy
eat
as
your
well.
face.
So,
Right.
yeah. Don't annoy him, maybe. But he's also, throughout the entire game, drinking from a cup of tea. So you'd appreciate that,
Good.
Dan.
Good.
And also, the giraffe throughout the entire game is smoking a pipe. So this is
I
good.
have a question.
Generally wearing a top hat and a suit. Yes?
I have a question.
Yes?
How does the giraffe
Yep.
get the pipe into his mouth?
It just stays there.
Because he's
Dan.
got a very
I
long
guess
neck.
Someone else helps him out.
Or is that
maybe
what his
he
hippo
reaches down
manservant's
with his
for?
neck. Maybe someone from a upper window, perhaps. That's
So basically, he's
possible.
freeloading on the goodwill of others to keep his nicotine habit going, is what you're saying.
Well, he is a bit of a kleptomaniac, and that's one of the things that your doctor assistant chastised you for at one point. And yeah, there is a lot of dry humour throughout the script. I really like the humour. I really like some of the writing. I've seen some criticisms of the voice acting, but I think it's okay and kind of suits what it is. And yeah, both of them have got like the two main characters have got like a good chemistry with each other. The only thing is, it's a classical point and click adventure, very much in the style and the trappings of a classic point and click adventure from back in the day. So I think you might like it in some ways, Coleman, even though I think, Dan, the humour may appeal to you more, basically. But I think you both could find things in this game that you quite like. The only thing is, being so alike the old kind of point and click adventures, it does for me suffer from the same miscomings and misgivings of that kind of previous generation of point and click adventure type things. So there is a lot of I walk around all the different locations and I didn't see this tiny thing on this screen here, and so I couldn't find anything on what to do for ages, or I didn't think to combine that on that in the way that it does. And yeah.
So you spent 3 hours trying to use a spoon on a mallet, for example, expecting something wonderful to happen.
Yeah. And
right, good.
All the characters in the game are generally other animals in other roles, and like there's a sea lion who's also a man of the cloth type thing, a priest or a father, basically. And then there's a scientist that's someone that was helping out on the scientific side, and was a chameleon, basically, and stuff like that. So there's a gardener who's a slug. And the kind of preamble to the game, and there's a bit of kind of introductory stuff where you're getting to this island, but the main case begins on the island. So there's a bit of puzzle work to do to get there in the first place. You got to find a sailor and get on a ship and do all the stuff to get out of the dock safely and all this type of stuff. So yeah, the main meat and bones of the game starts when you go to the house that is a friend of Lord Winklebottom, an old school chum, and he basically invites a load of people to his house, and it's kind of under mysterious circumstances. No one really knows why they're there. But as you arrive, he is found dead by the maid, and the butler's missing, and there's a few other things going on. So it's a kind of classic, murder mystery kind of setup.
Whodunit.
Although you're not actually technically doing that much detective work, it feels a little bit more like it, because there's times where you get to go round and you have to try and like talk to all the different suspects and all the different people that are in the house, and find out if they have a reason to be ruled out as a suspect. One of them because they got killed. That kind of ruled them out. And then other reasons to rule people out, or other reasons to find they have a motive and they might be a suspect, basically. And you're kind of going around and eliminating all these people. Yep.
I have a question. It sounds like there's a lot of being a passenger in the story rather than coming to any like deductions in and of yourself.
Well, that is the main crux of a point and click adventure.
No, but you don't have to go right. You don't point the finger yourself. It's like, oh, they've talked to all these people, and now this is just the next step in the script.
Like, There's none of the elements of the kind of Sherlock Holmes games from Frogware and stuff that kind of had a deduction element to them and a mind palace type thing to work with. So there's none of those sorts of things. The story and the investigation thing is very much a kind of overview that the mechanics of the game is inserted into. And it's the mechanics of the game where it slightly has a downfall. For me, the console interface, like, I do think this game is going to be slightly better played on a PC or maybe even on the Switch where you've got the touchscreen as well. It does suffer a little bit from that.
Do you know that they have touchscreen controls for point and click?
I don't know for sure, but... Yeah. Okay. But I think that would be a good idea for this game. That's the only time where the interface was a little bit jittery. Not jittery, but it you know when you get that feeling where you're like, oh yeah, this is definitely a mouse game that has been converted to a console game rather than something that's designed that way. It definitely feels that way. And it's not terrible, but it is noticeable and takes you out of the game here and there and makes it a bit awkward to click on things or combine things here and there and stuff like that. There has been, like, I think 3 times in the game where I've been stuck for the best part of an hour just making little to absolutely no progress. And the hint system where you can click on the cup of tea and you'll get your assistant to kind of chime in with a little thing. It can be helpful, but most of the time it just gives you an overview of the thing that you're doing rather than a helpful piece of information to actually help you advance. And yeah, I think the hint system could be a bit stronger and it would actually help the game because you're only asking the hint system when you want something to move you along. And I think if you ask it a multiple times or something, it should give you a better clue or point you in like, at least tell you the room you should be in or something. But none of the things are too obtuse. Most of them have some logic to them, but occasionally, like, I would never have guessed that I needed that object to do that. And then progress from here. And sometimes you're like, well, I clearly need that object to do this, but actually you can't actually do that yet. You need to do something else to get round the problem at the moment and then solve the problem the way that you're thinking to solve the problem in the future to finally solve the problem. So there's some things like that where it can be a bit confusing, but the humour is worth coming back for, and I really do like it. It's just when you do get stuck at those points, that humour starts to really drag because you're hearing the same things again and again and making no progress. And that's where the humour falls apart a bit, which is a shame because I do like the humour and I like all the different interactions with the different characters and everything else. So
I have a question. Does Lord Winklebottom ever get told to wind his neck in? Because he's a giraffe, you see, and he's got a long neck. And he might...
There are plenty of, like, animal-based jokes and jokes around the fact that they are, you know, the animals that they are in the positions that they are. And, yeah, like, it does play its comedy hand reasonably well in making some... Like, it's more of a constant chortling and chuckling rather than anything that makes you actually laugh out loud. But there is the odd laugh out loud moment where I was actually, like, highly amused, but generally it was just kind of chuckling all the way through at silly little jokes.
I do enjoy a chuckle as much as the next person.
One of the early ones when you're in your own apartment at the beginning is that there's a fake art piece on the wall that is the goat with the pearl earring. And there's just like silly little references like that throughout, which kind of make you chuckle. I don't know how much it is, and that might affect how much I recommend it, but I would, if you like your old point and click adventure games especially, and if that sort of humour appeals to you, I think that's a reasonable price for what it is. I've played it for a good 5-6 hours at least, and I'm going to go back and play a bit more, so I might come back and talk about when I've actually completed the case. I've either eliminated or identified every subject, but I haven't quite got to the end of the conclusion. So I'll see if I come back and that makes any difference. But so far I've been chuckling along. It's a good old point and click adventure. So yeah.
So basically you haven't got a clue what's happened is what you're saying.
I've got my suspicions. I'm just not giving the game away. The game is a hoof, as they say in the game.
From the sounds of it, it's a little bit more of a Poirot investigation than a Sherlock Holmes type story.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's
yes.
I wanted to say,
on Holmes and Watson.
Is it just me though? Wouldn't you, on that note, wouldn't you be really worried about inviting Poirot around your house? Because whenever Poirot turns up, someone's died.
Yeah.
Pretty much is what happens. Oh, no, Poirot's coming round. Oh, no.
It's the same for Jessica Fletcher as well. It's the Jessica Fletcher rule. Wherever she goes, death follows.
I looked around and I've found out that you do have touch controls on the Switch. However, they're not calibrated very well and it's murder to use. Which is ironic considering the game. So by the sounds of it, it's a recommend from you, Tim, but on the PC, so you can have a mouse and a mouse to use. So I've gone for that. Plus, there's a 10% discount on PC, Steam as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've gone for the Steam copy. So if any of the PR people are listening, as they tend to do sometimes, Tim's just sold one copy for you.
One copy.
That's one for one. You gave him a copy, you sold a copy. Well done.
So you've just broken even. Congratulations.
What, with a 10% discount.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I was going to talk about the recent release for Forza Horizon 5, which is the Hot Wheels expansion. However, looking at the clock, there's not a lot of time to talk about it. So I will quickly touch on it and just say it's very fun. If you played this 2 Forza Horizons ago on that update, there's not really a lot to surprise you.
Wow.
But
okay.
It is very good. So yeah, if you enjoyed that, then and you want to do that in Forza Horizon 5, then go for it. It's a fun expansion.
I must admit, I haven't installed it yet because I got rather distracted with my messy dick and with Returnal. So I do yet.
There's no decent way of playing Game Pass on that thing, is there? Unless you do the cloud.
I can do cloud gaming on it.
Yeah, you don't want to do that for Forza.
It's the cloud gaming.
Nah, mate.
Nah.
Even with I've managed to get Game Pass cloud streaming working really well on my phone now, but I still won't do driving games because it just feels a little bit floaty when you do it. It's like playing The Crew. Like the controls are just weird.
PlayStation announced an official controller with Backbone today, but they've only got an iPhone one so far. So, but yeah, they looked away.
Well, I can play PlayStation games with the Razer Kishi. You just can't use the PlayStation app. You have to use. It's called. Sorry, live looking at my phone. It's called PS Play. And it's a little bit fiddly if you want to remote play like me. You've got to do some settings on your home network and your router.
It's a little bit fiddly.
It is quite fiddly.
Gaming outside.
But it's worth it when you do it.
And yeah, I won't talk about it this week, but talking of expansions, I've been playing a little bit of Into the Breach Advanced Edition, and that looks very good so far. Adds a load of extra mech teams and a load of different enemies and rules and lots of other stuff. So yeah, that's for free.
That's a free update as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's out on iOS and Android now as well. So yeah, but we'll talk about that more next week, possibly.
Yeah, we have news, but we don't have time to go through it all. So I will read the headlines without us commenting on it too much. But they're mostly rumours this week, and I've got to read the rumours because they are exciting rumours, and they're pretty reputable sources this week. So from Bloomberg, we have the headline of GTA 6 is to feature a female main character, which I've misspelt female, apologies, I've realised. And the idea is, according to this report, that you will have a male and female switchable character, and it will, a couple doing crimes together, much like a Bonnie and Clyde type scenario.
Oh, you just know Rockstar can't be trusted with that. You know there's going to be some kind of sexy moment between those two characters.
No, they're meant to be a couple.
No, I know, but you know there's going to be, like, you're swapping points of view while they're horizontally jogging or something.
They managed they managed not to get too in-depth
it's
with
Rockstar,
that stuff.
dude. It's going to happen.
Well, no, I mean, since the whole hot coffee thing, which was, San Andreas, and that was content that was taken out the game but left on the disc, so it could be unlocked. They've kind of steered clear of that thing. I think there was a dating mode in GTA 5, in GTA 4, but that wasn't really fleshed out too well, and GTA 5
it was mainly just going on dates as well, though. Like,
yeah,
as in going for activities, but yeah.
Yeah, and it was more about having relationships to see what benefits you can get. Like, this woman will come and help you attack people, or you might have access to free cars, or, it was like stuff like that. It wasn't really graphically in depth with it. Like the whole prostitution thing that got cut out since, I want to say, Vice City. I haven't seen that pop up for a long time.
Maybe even earlier, I'm not sure, but yeah.
Anywho, the other reports are that this is meant to start in a fictionalized version of Miami and its surrounding city areas, so presumably that will be a return for Vice City. But then as the game progresses and more updates are released, then new missions, it will unlock new areas of GTA's map as well, so new cities going forward, which all sounds very exciting.
That sounds
true.
cool.
There's also been more reports of behind the scenes where apparently they're trying to sort their whole idea out with crunch and scaling back on things like that by not absolutely slave driving everyone till the point of release of the video game. They're also trying to look at more their culture of behind the scenes and kind of eliminate that frat boy style of working. And trying not to kind of bash down at different cultures as they've tend to do in previous Rockstar games. So it seems to be major change behind the scenes if this is all true. And again, this is from Jason Schreier, and he tends to be pretty accurate with his reporting.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Also from another pretty decent source, Jeff Grubb from Giant Bomb. He did his Game Mess show on Twitch this week, and he spilled the beans that there could be a Black Panther open world game in development.
Ooh.
I like the sound of that.
That could be awesome.
Which he queued that up pretty well, where it seemed like the Wakanda Forever trailer came out, and while all the hype with that was going on, by the way, check out my Twitch thing if you want to hear about a Black Panther video game, and then that got his viewership through the roof. So very clever, Mr. Grubb. This is apparently called Project Rainer, and it's happening over at EA. And the studio is going to be, is being headed up by Kevin Stevens, who previously worked on the two Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games, as well as previous licensed games, Gotham City Imposters, which my dad liked, Batman Arkham City, which I liked, Batman the Brave and the Bold, and Lego Harry Potter's Year 1 and 4.
All right. You win some, you lose some.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine, not amazing. Black Panther open world game, I will play that. And I'm just excited for more open world superhero games. I'd like more variety in them. I love the Batman open world games. I'm so happy with Spider-Man. You get a little bit of open world in Avengers, but not enough. You fly around as Iron Man for a big box, essentially. That looks like a city, but I would prefer a more open world game of other characters. And Black Panther is quite nimble, so that sounds fun. Another thing is these are all rumors, by the way. Another one from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. You remember there was a Star Wars Knights of the Republic remake that was announced last year, which had been in development for 5 years over at Aspire.
The game that no one could quite work out what the business case was for it being a thing in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, this is from Aspire.
I mean, it will sell.
It will sell.
It will sell on the basis of the name alone, and the.
I'm not sure I want it as much as I love this game. I'm not sure I need it. But
it's not just Star Wars, but the nostalgia of Star Wars Republic fans wanting to play it, plus people that have heard of it and want a newer version to go into rather than playing an older, more dated version. It will sell for that. Aspire are an interesting one because they picked up the license for a bunch of different Star Wars games, but like a back catalogue of their older games. And they seemingly just, Control C, Control V, but output in a bit of a higher polish, stick it on a higher resolution, and then whack it on the Switch or the PlayStation. They put the N64 version of Pod Racing out. They put the Rogue Troopers, or what was it called? The Clone Troopers game. There's a bunch of old games that they've been putting out, old Star Wars games. And then when it came to Knights of the Old Republic, they went, hey, we're just going to completely remake this game, even though we haven't really shown any kind of pedigree to doing HD, like complete remasters and remakes, rather than just porting games. So, yeah, apparently that has now been put indefinitely on hold. According to this report, Aspire went over to do a presentation to Lucasfilm and Sony, showing a vertical slice demo to the production partners, and following that, there was an immediate pause on development and two high-profile firings from the company.
Did they accidentally bring their home movie collection, if you know what I mean?
I saw a teacher do that online the other day, and that's a bad thing.
That is a bad thing to do. Perhaps just don't video yourself doing that stuff in the first place.
Yeah.
Sort it out at the root.
I was
Wow.
quietly curious about this, much like the Gollum thing. I'm curious, but I'm
the
not
teachers'
hopeful.
videos?
No, about the flipping Star Wars.
But so not only did they go, no thanks,
Wars
but you
in
two
the
are
stars,
fired.
you say, eh?
Lastly, Discord has come to Xbox, but it's only available in a beta version at the moment. So if you are one of the insiders, which I think anyone can be an insider now, it's not invite only, you can download Discord right now, which is interesting because PlayStation did that huge investment in Discord last year. So everyone was speculating that it was coming to PlayStation, and it's coming to Xbox first.
I think it'll come to every platform with the probable exception of anything Nintendo related as crossplay becomes more of a thing. I think there's so many of us looking for a decent way just to hook up online and have a chat with your mates, even if you're not playing on the same system. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing. I think it's a really good idea. More of that, please.
I mean, anyone playing Nintendo Switch online and wanting to communicate with each other, they're using Discord anyway. They're putting a headphone in and then another headphone for the PC, and you know they're jerry-rigging their own way around it because there's no way anyone's going to use that stupid octopus plug-in monstrosity thing, which I don't think they even advertise anymore. That was a really dumb way of doing online chat,
didn't it?
Yeah, if you want to play this game, make sure your phone's plugged in. Don't get any phone calls. Just make sure your headphone's plugged into your phone while that's plugged into an attachment, plugged into your Switch, and absolutely fine. Not a mess at all. While everyone else is looking at Wi-Fi, everyone's looking at Bluetooth headphones and headsets, we want to make this horrible monstrosity for your desk. Cheers, Nintendo.
It's a Nintendo-type solution, and we love them for it.
Exactly. A Nintendo solution for a Nintendo problem. That is
indeed.
all the news and all the games that we had to talk about this week. Would you like some questions?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Spiky Chris wanted to know our thoughts on the KOTOR being indefinitely delayed. I think our points have been made.
We've talked about it.
Just discussed it.
Yep.
It's me, Andy Baines. He says, I have a query. That's not how you say it.
A query?
He says he has got a query.
Queries? He listened to this show.
He says, any of you three have any standout memories from that there past bunch of episodes?
Right. Stab in the dark with the accent?
Yeah.
Good. Right. Excellent. Good.
Based
Are we
on
just
no
going to
knowledge.
do random accents for anyone who does a question now?
Yeah, I think we should. It'd be rude not to.
Okay. So if you're asking a question, if you're going to ask a question, we would also greatly appreciate it if you could say what accent you would like the question read in, please.
Because I can see this going horribly wrong.
That'll go.
So can I, which is why I'm asking people to do it. If you want to be the fun police, Coleman, if you want to be the fun police, I mean, go ahead, be my guest.
All right, fine. When someone writes, hi, my name's David and I'm from Nigeria, Dan, can you please read my question? Then go for it.
Exactly.
That is an excellent
Tim, can
point.
you read I'm from Hong Kong. Go for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just make Tim do all the accents. Because I think Tim's
only
got one accent.
Dan, yeah? You have been on the internet. Yeah, I don't know
I
if you've been on any parts of the internet where other people are, maybe.
Perhaps I'm too innocent. Maybe I thought it was just going to be light-hearted regional accents.
You can have accents based in the UK, and that is it.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Possibly South African as well. Anyway, sorry. Yes. Any standout memories from the past bunch of episodes? I'm assuming that's the past 500 episodes plus bonus episodes.
See, but then we're getting into only former colonies, and that's bad as well. Anyway, but yeah.
Why are you still on this? We changed subject.
We very, very distinctly changed subject, all right?
I think we stopped at Hong Kong.
I said Australia. We could do Australia.
Hong Kong,
Tim. Yeah, see, he just said Australia. But that's what you said. You said it's fine for the rest of the UK, South Africa, Australia. And then it was like, okay, well, there's a few other countries you could add to that list. And then, anyway, but yeah.
But we didn't, because we knew it would all go terribly wrong.
Coleman, can you read my question? I'm from Mumbai. Oh, no.
Oh, God.
We're probably okay with most American accents, no? But again, former colonies are... yeah.
You're not. You can barely do English.
Well, no. Yeah, no, exactly.
Right.
Anyway...
standout memories. I was going to say most of my standout memories got animated and put on YouTube. So
yeah,
we have Big Red Barrel. We have BRB UK animated over on Big Red Barrel TV. on YouTube. So if you want to go check those out, those are available.
I haven't had an update for a while, but yeah, they were some good ones.
The biggest one, I would guess, would be saying, I'd say the Juggernog one, where we did the
Juggernog was a good one.
Yeah, when we had
Juggernog was good. I think that might have been where we peaked.
I think that was like episode 200 or 250, and we brought in Brady and Kev to try and do this all at the same time. And like, I've had a lot of experience with the editing software, and we've upgraded, and we use, like, the technology's brilliant these days in comparison to how we used to do it just on Audacity and spend forever like painlessly cutting bits out and throwing bits together and moving them around and stuff. And then I went, you know what? 5 people? I think 5 people is a good idea, and I'll mash that all together at different speeds. And that was painstaking to put together, but it was fun.
Where everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. It was just like, why, you evil people?
Yeah, I liked that one. And then I particularly liked the next time we tried to do something like that. And we basically put out a big promo going like, Kev's back, Dan. And you'd been off for a while as well, Dan. You'd just done your dissertation. So we put out this promo, and it was like all epic music, like cinematic type thing. And it was like, Tim's on the show, Coleman's on the show, Dan's back, Kev's back, and here's Brady. And then I think on the day, about an hour before recording, when Brady was like, okay, I cannot make the show.
That's why. And that's why we're not doing accents. Okay. I can't make the show. I give you read my book.
I lost my trousers and can I make it to the show?
I don't know why both of our Scottish accents go like octogenarian Edinburgh grandma straight away. Oh, hello. Would you like to buy a barn cake?
That's the wrong tune. There we go. Okay, can I make it to the episode? I'll make it to episode 500.
But I'm only doing a minute and a half. That's my phone ringtone. I don't know how to put it on silent.
See you, Jimmy.
Still going. I can't turn it off. Hello. Hello, John Brady here.
Tim, any standout moments for you?
I don't know if you guys remember all the way back to last week. Last week was quite fun.
Oh, yes, that was fun.
Fun recording last week.
Never heard of it.
But yeah, no, like generally a lot of them that we don't do something like animate them and something, they kind of slightly all blend into one. But our best episode is always next week.
Yes.
Good answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Like Tim doing his sales patter. God bless him. God, have I got any standout memories? I've got lots of memories of, and I mean this with love, Tim. Okay, when I say this, where
mashing your face violently against the desk,
where you may have been on one of your meandering conversational tours around what a game has to offer, and I. All of a sudden, come back to again and go.
In the back of your thing. This here, look, and it fits there. For 10 minutes.
Try and remember what several times I've come to trying to work out what the bloody hell you've been on about for the past half hour. Hey, look, I'm giving consumer advice. This is the thing. If you try and criticise Tim, he straight away just goes into no, not having that. Take the mick.
I think,
Jesus.
I mean, off the top of my head, I don't think we got one from Dan, but I know there are 2 episodes where I cut out a rant I had at you two, and I cut out a rant Tim had at us two. Because I think I got knocked off because I was trying to talk and you guys were talking over me, and it happened so much, and I got so angry. It was in the old flat when I was in the attic as well. I remember that. And then I remember one where Tim was trying to talk, and I kept playing with the soundboard, and he flipped. He's like, I can't bloody concentrate when you're doing that, and he's shouting, I've got a question. And that was like 1.0 soundboard, so it was a phone hooked up to the mixer.
Yeah, I think the only time I've had a meltdown in BRB related stuff on a show or on stream is when I was trying to make you lot do bloody Extra Destiny raids, and I just had a severe acute sense of humour fail. I was just like, I still can't believe it. In all seriousness,
nothing will be funny again. I hate
no. I cannot believe I actually said the words, "It's your own time you're wasting," completely seriously.
I remember a point being sat on a stage doing a live show thinking, I wish we planned this better. That was fun. I liked that one.
That was okay.
Yeah, anyway.
Let us know your favourite moments. Just indulge us. Give us a big head with your favourite BRB UK moments.
No accent on those, please.
Oh, no,
I've changed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I've
all
changed
Newcastle
my mind.
accents.
Yeah.
Why, man?
Exactly that. And just Dan gets to read them. If you want to ask us questions or indeed share your favourite moments or any kind of feedback or suggestions of video games, queries, anything you want to do, let us know. We have different forms that you can go and find us on. We have a comment section on bigredbarrel.com. Over there, there's a link to our Discord. We have a Facebook and a Twitter, which are Big Red Barrel, and we have a YouTube, which is Big Red Barrel TV. I did look into changing that. It won't change. I don't know why. I'll keep trying.
There's a very tedious reason why.
And more will be available in the show notes for this here episode, be that on bigredbarrel.com or in the very app you may be listening to this show on your phone. Scroll down on the show notes. There will be links at the bottom.
Long short of it, there's links. Click them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and also we have merch. You can go over to tpublic.com/stores/BRB and we have our full range of merchandise, t-shirts, mugs, masks, mouse mats, nappies, hammocks, parasols,
glass three,
palm trees made of marzipan,
that's also
pogo sticks, and a man called Dave.
I mean,
he doesn't like it when we print my face on his chest every time.
No, he loves the new
barrels on
for
pogo
episode
sticks.
500 though. Barrels on pogo sticks. You said it, Tim. We got those too. Kangaroos.
No, we don't have those.
Are wearing sunglasses and thongs. Not thongs as in the undergarments. Thongs as in flip flops. But that's what Australians call flip flops. Thongs.
Yes, that is indeed a
as
true.
was the
It's a kangaroo. Because he's a kangaroo. He's from Australia. So you've got to say the right things. He's having a slab of tinnies.
Tie me down.
Those are all available on tpublic.com/store/BRB. Please check out our merchandise and check out our new t-shirt for
Please, we need to fund Coleman's intervention to stop him drinking. Okay? Please, it'd be lovely.
Water. I'm stone cold sober. You fool.
Allow him to hydrate. What kind of cruel slave master are you, Dan?
Before we go, even though Coleman's told you to do a bunch of stuff, there's one other thing that Tim will actually poo his pants if he doesn't get to tell you about, and that's Tabletop Tuesday. Tim, Tuesdays, give us the skinny.
Tuesdays are indeed a Tuesday, and each and every Tuesday we do an event called Tabletop Tuesday, where we have a different feature game. And usually have a different feature game, and if you play that feature game, you have a chance of winning a copy of that game at the end of the evening. This week and the upcoming week are both extra special because we had the same special guest. It's the first time we've ever had a returning special guest. Last week they were showing off a prototype game that was only available to play with us and is coming out next year called Seize the Power. Interesting game about unfair power dynamics in society and stuff. That looks really interesting, coming out from publisher ITB next year. And they also had a copy of another game from the same publisher, a game called Scorer, which was a little game about fishing, which was quite cool. A little quick to play little game about kind of fishing and collecting sets of fish, and yeah, that was quite good. It had different wind conditions and stuff. I quite liked it. The other good thing about Tabletop Tuesday this week is the first time that we've had at least every table filled with people playing games. There were some people playing video games at some points. There was some Magic players in. There was some guys playing an RPG called Spire. And yeah, but we had people playing the feature game, people playing the new game, people playing loads of other games. And there was also a set of people downstairs. So we had a load of people at Tabletop Tuesday this week. It was a really good atmosphere. Everyone had a really good time. We got some more people that hadn't been before that will be returning in the future. And yeah, it's a really good time to come along to Tabletop Tuesday. As I said, we've got returning guests next week, and they are coming off to show off some of the games that we missed during lockdown. So there'll be multiple feature games to get along as part of International Bez Day. So please come along to that. There are more details on
International
the
Bez Day
with the site.
I have a question. Yes. Can I twist a melon?
Not that Bez.
Kind of.
Boo!
There is a game called In a Bind, which is all about get contorting and stuff with
I mean,
cards. But
you
anyway,
could, but Bez doesn't
fun.
like it.
Bez, cheer up, mate.
But stuff by Bez
I was
is the
talking,
name of the
I was talking
company.
about Happy Mondays, Bez.
Variety of games. Oh, that Bez. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that Bez.
Yeah. He's been on TV recently. But anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, as I said, Tabletop Tuesday has been really good. You can also join the over 2,000 members on Meetup. On meetup.com, search for Tabletop Tuesday, or just join us at the Loading Bar in Stoke Newington, 129 Stoke Newington Road on a Tuesday.
There we go.
Stoke Newington.
That's why it's called Tabletop Tuesday.
Tabletop Tuesday.
So, thank you, Tim.
Tabletop Tuesday.
Tabletop Tuesday. Table Tuesday. We've got tables. We've got tops. We've got Tuesdays. Tabletop Tuesday.
You can play a Tuesday game and a Tabletop Tuesday game.
Hey,
Yes.
if you got a table, it's got a top. Do you want to play a game on it? Got you covered.
No swearing.
Yeah, don't do that.
Right, we're going to go before I say something else. Now.
Got all the way
right,
through
okay,
the
that's
show.
your lot. That's your lot. So thank you ever so much for listening. All that we've got left to do is actually remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
I have been Coleman and Chaos. I've been Chaos.
There
Definitely
you
Chaos.
have.
Chaos Coleman.
Alrighty, so until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
I've never thought, but Coleman sounds like an enemy of Mega Man. We've never made that connection before. I wonder what
like
power you
Coleman.
get from Coleman.
Man of Coal.
Yeah. Man of Coal.
Hey up. Hey up, I'm Coleman.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
It sounds insidious.
Well, it's not, all right? We're here to recruit you for a special mission.
Hang on. We?
Hello, it's me, John Brady, famous journalist. But this matter is not about journalism at all.